And okay, I think we are live now. Can you hear us? Czy nas słyszycie? Czy nas widzicie? Widzę jakieś komentarze. Okay, I think we can start. Today with me is Princess. Princess had a presentation which will be presented in the second part. Hi, Princess.
Oh, hello, Patrick. Dzień dobry to the audience.
Dzień dobry, dzień dobry. So first part will be conducted in Polish. So I will start presenting my presentation, and we will see in 20 minutes. I hope so.
Okay.
Halo, dzień dobry. Wydaje mi się, że chyba wciąż mnie słychać, a Princess jest cały czas z nami. Ona pokaże Wam w drugiej części, jak się przygotować do rozmowy rekrutacyjnej. Natomiast z mojej strony chciałbym Wam parę rad przekazać. Jak to zrobić dobrze, jak to zrobić w IT, czym taka rozmowa rekrutacyjna, gdzie wchodzi jeszcze angielski, na czym ona polega, na co warto uważać, jak tą rozmowę poprowadzić. Maciek napisał, zacięło się. Mam nadzieję, że jest dobrze. Ja się w sumie zaciąłem, bo nie mogłem znaleźć mojego ekranu, ale wszystko zaczęło. No, polski język też jest trudny. Okej, słuchajcie, to zaczynamy. Pierwsze pytanie, przywitaj się na czacie, właściwie witacie się, widzę bardzo serdecznie. Napiszcie, w jakim języku programujecie, żebyśmy mieli pewność mniej więcej z kim rozmawiamy, to jest takie trochę na rozgrzewkę, żebyśmy też oczywiście mieli pewność, czy wszystko działa, ale chyba jest ok, dźwięk i obraz i nawet światło jest. Ja nazywam się Patryk Omiotek, jestem na co dzień programistą w firmie Intiv oraz założyłem projekt Szkoła Reacta, gdzie prowadzę szkolenia właściwie z Reacta. Te zajęcia wyglądają w formie online, jest to 12 albo 6-tygodniowy kurs, w którym pojawiają się co tydzień nowe lekcje, mamy dostęp do Slacka i uczymy się tam wszystkich rzeczy od samego początku aż do rzeczy zaawansowanych związanych z Reactem. Na stronie Szkoły Reacta łamane na zapisy możecie znaleźć informacje o aktualnej edycji, ponieważ dzisiaj wystartował nabór do kursu zaawansowanego. Chciałbym Wam powiedzieć, dlaczego warto się właściwie przygotować do rozmów w języku angielskim, dlaczego warto do tego odpowiednio podejść. Przede wszystkim, żeby dostać pracę. Chodzi o to, że właściwie w IT ma tą swoją specyfikę, że bardzo dużo firm wymaga języka angielskiego, nie tylko na tej podstawie, że musisz znać dokumentację, aby dobrze pisać te rozwiązania, ale tutaj bardzo dużo firm po prostu, my jako programiści jesteśmy tak naprawdę takimi trochę najemnikami i pośrednikami pomiędzy naszą firmą, która nas zatrudnia, a pomiędzy klientem. Więc dlatego ten język angielski jest ważny, aby z klientem też dobrze się komunikować. Dlaczego warto się przygotować z tego? Bo jeżeli faktycznie zostaniecie wystawieni potem do pracy z klientem, to niektóre firmy w ogóle nie akceptują osób, które mają jakieś problemy z angielskim. Niektóre robią coś takiego, że dobra, okej, to bierzemy tego człowieka, on się trochę podszkoli i potem będziemy mogli go pokazać klientowi, ale im ten poziom jest lepszy, to oczywiście wzrastają te szanse na zatrudnienie, bo te skille techniczne ogólnie, jeżeli chodzi o umiejętności w pracy IT, no to one się składają na kilka elementów. To są i skille techniczne, i znajomość języka angielskiego, i też skille miękkie, także tu jest pewna dość spora, duży taki scope umiejętności. No i właściwie znajomość tego języka angielskiego, no to też jest, nie ukrywajmy się, trochę taka prezentacja, jeżeli chodzi o samego siebie. Rozmowa rekrutacyjna to jest tak, jakbyś występował czy występowała przed jakąś publicznością i tutaj twoim zadaniem jest przekonać potencjalnego pracodawcę, że faktycznie warto z tobą współpracować, że chce z tobą współpracować, że zespół z tobą będzie dobrze współpracował i często to trzeba też właśnie przeprowadzić po angielsku i w zależności od tego, jak wypadniesz, jaki masz poziom, możesz zostać zakwalifikowany czy zakwalifikowana do odpowiedniego projektu. Jak się właściwie przygotować, jeżeli chodzi o takie najważniejsze rzeczy dla nas, dla programistów, to jest bardzo istotne to, żeby przede wszystkim najpierw w ogóle opanować ten cały materiał po polsku. Czyli ten cały zakres, jeżeli się przygotujesz już z tych wszystkich zagadnień, z których potencjalnie możesz być przepytywany, no to świetnie, tak? Po polsku wszystko przejdzie. A może się okazać, że przyjdziesz na rozmowę i trafi się jakiś, powiedzmy, wredny programista, który cię będzie rekrutował i powie, dobra, no to teraz porozmawiamy tylko po angielsku. To jest mega istotne, ponieważ o ile już po polsku, już to wszystko masz ułożone w głowie, no to znacznie lepiej i szybciej i wygodniej powiesz to po angielsku, ale nie na takiej zasadzie, że tego samego dnia sobie to potrenujesz, że okej, no to zacznę sobie to po angielsku mówić, no tutaj trzeba z jednego albo powiedzmy z 2 dni, żeby w miarę dobrze się do tego wszystkiego przygotować. Punkt drugi, wnikliwie czytaj dokumentację w języku angielskim, ponieważ no my programiści, ale ogólnie ludzie teraz, którzy są zalewani tysiącem informacji w internecie, przyzwyczaili się do skanowania tych informacji. Bardzo szybko tutaj szukamy czegoś, jakiegoś rozwiązania, które ułatwi nam szybkie rozwikłanie jakiegoś problemu. Natomiast przez to skanowanie pomijamy najważniejsze rzeczy, najistotniejsze czasami rzeczy w samej takiej dokumentacji technicznej i bardzo często chociażby na rozmowach rekrutacyjnych, które ja prowadzę, ludzie zapominają albo po prostu nie doczytali jakichś elementarnych rzeczy związanych z wykorzystaniem danej biblioteki czy z wykorzystaniem danego rozwiązania. Więc skoro już czytasz, no to czytaj po prostu dokładnie, tak jakby to była jakaś twoja ulubiona książka. Jeżeli chodzi o słownictwo, to akurat w IT mamy coś takiego, właściwie jak w innej branży, że powoli ten zakres słownictwa zaczniesz poznawać nowe słowa i z tych słów zaczniesz po prostu swobodnie korzystać. Więc na samym początku warto mieć jakiś zestaw najpopularniejszych słów używanych chociażby w dokumentacji. Jak zaczniesz czytać dokumentację dokładnie, linijka po linijce, to zauważysz, że wiele tych słów się powtarza. Czy to są rozwiązania frontendowe, czy backendowe, no ten zasób słownictwa jest ten sam i jest powtarzalny. Więc jeżeli po prostu zaczniesz praktykować, zaczniesz czytać, no to dużo łatwiej to wszystko będzie wyglądało. Natomiast o co tak na dobrą sprawę można być zapytanym w trakcie rozmowy rekrutacyjnej? Właściwie o wszystko, ale w zależności od firmy, od modelu, w jakim firma rekrutuje, czy ten język angielski musi być takim must have, że koniecznie trzeba bardzo dobrze mówić po angielsku, czyli w zależności od tego, że sprawdzimy teraz poziom kandydata i ewentualnie potem go doszkolimy, to są różne podejścia. I zaczynając nawet od takich bardzo trywialnych pytań, chociażby jak pytanie o hobby. Każdy albo większość z nas ma jakieś hobby, no to jest zdanie, którego na pewno się spodziewasz pewnie na rozmowie rekrutacyjnej, a skoro się go spodziewasz, to warto być po prostu z tego dobrze przygotowanym. Kolejna rzecz to może opowiedzenie opowiedzenie o projekcie, który ci sprawił najwięcej, powiedzmy, radości, z którego najwięcej wiedzy wyniosłeś czy wyniosłaś, albo w drugą stronę, to może być projekt, przez który nie spałeś czy nie spałaś po nocach. Więc coś takiego, bardziej pod tym kątem już wyzwań i bardziej takiej komunikacji, opowiadania na temat jakiegoś problemu, który został rozwiązany lub zakończył się kompletną porażką. Kolejną rzeczą, z którą możesz się zetknąć w trakcie takiej rozmowy, to chociażby dane zagadnienie. Powiedzmy, masz problem jakiś na zasadzie napisałeś aplikację w Reakcie, backendowcy wystawili ci API, opowiedz o całym procesie, jak te dane z API pobrać i wyświetlić listę. Czyli tutaj już są konkretne zagadnienia, z którymi na co dzień w pracy się stykamy. To jest istotne, ponieważ niektóre zespoły oczywiście w IT są rozproszone. Zdarzy się tak, że jest zespół oczywiście w Polsce, który komunikuje się tylko ze sobą, a w trakcie spotkań z klientem dopiero są rozmowy po angielsku, ale też się zdarza, że chociażby zespoły, które są osadzone w Polsce, mają przynajmniej jednego obcokrajowca, no i już wtedy po angielsku trzeba rozmawiać. I to ogólnie jest bardzo fajne, jeżeli chce się tak na co dzień praktykować. Ja ogólnie Was zachęcam do tego, aby jeżeli macie możliwość dołączenia do takiego zespołu, to skorzystajcie z niej, bo to drastycznie poprawia znajomość, właściwie użycie takiego angielskiego w codziennym życiu projektowym. Kolejną rzeczą, jaką warto wiedzieć, na którą warto się przygotować, to również coś związanego z problemem, który został rozwiązany, czyli pracujesz nad jakimś zadaniem, niech to nawet będzie to-do lista, albo projekt, który masz już w portfolio i o którym chcesz opowiedzieć, natomiast postaraj się takie zadanie, postaraj się tak o nim opowiedzieć, aby ono trafiło do osoby nietechnicznej, aby osoba, która nie zna języka branżowego, slangu IT, była w stanie zrozumieć. To jest mega istotne, ponieważ jeżeli mamy rozmowy już z klientem, jeżeli dajmy na to pracujemy w Scrumie i przez 2 tygodnie wytwarzamy nasze oprogramowanie, natomiast po tych 2 tygodniach jest sprint review, mamy jakieś demo, musimy to zaprezentować, no to bardzo często po stronie klienta nie będą zawsze programiści, z dużym prawdopodobieństwem tam będą osoby takie jak chociażby Product Owner czy Scrum Master, które nie tylko będą zwracały uwagę na to, czy zadanie zostało wykonane w Jirze, ale będą chciały zobaczyć, jak to działa. No i im już trochę ciężko będzie zrozumieć, jak będziecie operowali tylko technicznym językiem i tylko technicznym sloganem. Także warto to po prostu spróbować opowiedzieć taki problem, jak po prostu do dziecka nawet najzwyklej, bo wtedy się okaże, że będzie trzeba skorzystać z jakichś innych słówek, czy inaczej te zdania ułożyć. Błędy, które są popełniane właściwie na rozmowach, to one wiążą się właściwie z kilkoma rzeczami. Pierwsza, to nie mogę w sumie zakwalifikować tego jako błąd, natomiast jest coś takiego od dawien dawna jak stres. I ten stres jest w sumie największym takim blokerem, aby zacząć rozmawiać po angielsku, czy żeby się nie zablokować na rozmowie rekrutacyjnej po angielsku. Jak ja właśnie prowadzę rekrutację, to bardzo często na samym początku widzę, że ludzie zapominają chociażby oddychać i po prostu mówię, zacznij oddychać, albo jeżeli macie możliwość, jeżeli ktoś Wam proponuje szklankę wody, to jak najbardziej postaraj się z tej opcji skorzystać, ponieważ woda cię nawodni i dzięki temu też łatwiej to wszystko pójdzie, więc to są takie tipy bardzo podstawowe. Natomiast jeżeli chodzi o błędy, to jak najbardziej ten zbiór słownictwa i trenowanie, czyli zbiór podstawowych słówek, podstawowych terminów używanych w IT i to, tak jak wspominałem wcześniej, znajdziecie w dokumentacji. Jeżeli już w jakimś języku, czy frameworku, czy korzystasz z jakiejś biblioteki, no to jak najbardziej po prostu przeczytaj to jeszcze raz, przeczytaj jakiś taki fragment, wypisz sobie te wszystkie słówka, bo my potrafimy z kontekstu dużo zrozumieć, tak? A jeżeli wyrwiemy te słówka z kontekstu, to czy my tak naprawdę faktycznie je dobrze znamy i dobrze je rozumiemy. I ten brak słownictwa, zwłaszcza ja pamiętam w moim przypadku to był duży problem, gdy miałem braki w słownictwie, a miałem dobrze panowaną gramatykę. Przeważnie mamy taki model nauczania w szkołach. To się okazało, że jak już miałem face to face z kimś porozmawiać, z jakimś native'em, to się okazywało, że że jest słabo, bo wiem mniej więcej, co chcę powiedzieć, ale nie wiem, jakich słówek użyć. Wiem, jaki czas skonstruować, a brakuje, mam takie luki, tak, zdaniowe, bo który to rzeczownik powinien być, albo przymiotnik. Także mimo wszystko ogólnie, jak nativi ze sobą rozmawiają, czy osoby, które korzystają z angielskiego, to one aż takiej uwagi na czasy nie zwracają, tak jak my tutaj w Polsce jesteśmy edukowani, więc przede wszystkim właśnie słownictwo i słówka. Pewna anegdotka. Ten angielski, jak wspominałem na początku, warto przećwiczyć, przetrenować ze 2 dni wcześniej albo dzień wcześniej. Nigdy tego samego dnia, albo nigdy nie rób takiego założenia, że jesteś przygotowany czy przygotowana do tej rozmowy świetnie po polsku i dobrze, no to w sumie po angielsku powiedzieć, o ile nie jesteś super zaawansowany i nie masz C1 czy C2 pewnie certyfikatu, no to jednak trzeba się przeszkolić, przećwiczyć. Ja kiedyś popełniłem straszny błąd na jednej konferencji, ponieważ przygotowywałem prezentację i tą prezentację przygotowywałem, zmieniałem, aż właściwie ją zmieniałem godzinę przed wystąpieniem. Prezentacja była po angielsku, więc slajdy sobie przygotowałem po angielsku, więc teoretycznie miałem nagłówki, miałem całą treść, wystarczyło tylko opowiadać. A jak zacząłem to opowiadać, to się okazało, że kurczę, nie wiem jak to powiedzieć, nie wiem jak to zdanie złożyć. Co chwilę w mojej wypowiedzi było więc zacinałem się. No i ta prezentacja w moim osobistym odczuciu poszła fatalnie i wróciłem do Lublina, posiedziałem trochę w kącie, pomyślałem, co było nie tak, a jak najbardziej nie tak było to, że po angielsku tego nie przećwiczyłem. Na szczęście rok później miałem sposobność zrobienia podobnej prezentacji na tej samej konferencji, natomiast tutaj już sobie przeznaczyłem, nie wiem, nawet 3-4 godzinki jakieś, żeby sobie trochę przyćwiczyć te zdania, które będę mówił. No i poszło zdecydowanie lepiej, więc kwestia przetrenowania tej prezentacji po angielsku jest też mega istotna. Z kolejnych rzeczy, na które warto zwrócić uwagę i z drugiej strony się trochę nie przejmować, bo zauważyłem, że wiele osób się przejmuje, że albo odpada, albo nie chce się podjąć niektórej rekrutacji, bo twierdzą, że ich angielski nie jest idealny. I on wcale nie musi być idealny. Przykład, pojechałem, pierwsza moja delegacja, gdy byłem w Stanach, myślałem, że angielski mam w miarę opanowany, byłem w Dolinie Krzemowej i się okazało, że niewiele w sumie jestem w stanie zrozumieć w biurze, w którym tam się znajduję, ponieważ w kulturach tych anglojęzycznych jest masa dialektów i różnych akcentów, tak? Więc każdy też mówi swoim trochę językiem i to, że my idealnie opanujemy angielski, to wcale ci do końca nie gwarantuje, że faktycznie od razu się z kimś dogadasz, więc inne nacje, inne narodowości też właściwie, których angielski nie jest podstawowym językiem, mają ten sam problem jak my, więc jak najbardziej tutaj nie musisz od razu robić nie wiadomo jakiego poziomu angielskiego, po prostu zacznij mówić, zacznij trenować, zacznij na przykład się nagrywać na komputerze, czy pisać. Okej. Z mojej strony to widzę, że wszystko, jeżeli chodzi o to przygotowanie. Niedługo przekażę głos Princess, naszemu gościowi, ale zanim przejdziemy, to jeszcze chciałem przekazać Wam informację, że dzisiaj wystartowałem z kursem zaawansowanym, jeżeli chodzi o naukę Reacta. Jest to 6-tygodniowy program nauki, gdzie co tydzień pojawiają się nowe lekcje i dla Was, dla uczestników, bo widzę, że już 154 osoby tutaj są. Jeżeli chcecie zapoznać się z programem, to pod tym adresem szkołareacta.pl/zapisy jest cały program, jakie są bonusy, są webinary z przygotowania właśnie CV, jak do rozmowy rekrutacyjnej się przygotować, ale najważniejsze, jak pisać zaawansowane aplikacje w Reactie, poczynając od API, testowania, deploymentu, jakie są wzorce, jak optymalizować te aplikacje, więc jeżeli ktoś z Was byłby zdecydowany, to z kodem rozmowy IT dostaniecie 10% zniżki na ten cały kurs. Ja w trakcie kursu przez te 6 tygodni również jestem dostępny na Slacku. I wydaje mi się, że to już jest ten moment. So Princess, I think it's the high time we can switch to English. So could you introduce yourself?
Sure, no problem. Dzień dobry, good day to everyone. Well done to you, Patrick. Thank you so much once again for inviting me and Tutlo to join you in this webinar. And of course, hello to everyone who have been watching. And for those of you who have just joined us, welcome to today's webinar. Before I forget, let me introduce myself first. I'm Princess Marce, an English tutor at Tutlo. For those who have not heard about Tutlo, it is an online English learning platform that provide students one-on-one lessons at their own convenient time. So I have almost 9 years of experience in ESL industry. So ESL stands for English as a Second Language. So on the side, I'm also the team leader of Tutlo's native speaker recruitment team. And I've done thousands of screenings and job interviews with English native speakers and of course, Polish candidates. So today I will be covering 4 points. So first, how to prepare for a job interview in English. What should you repeat or do before the interview? Second, the most common mistakes made during recruitment interviews in English. Third, how to take care of the correct pronunciation. And of course, the fourth one is about handling difficult questions. So guys, my part will take around 30 to 40 minutes, I think. So I hope you could tune in until the end of the webinar as I'm going to discuss topics that would, I hope, benefit you someday. And if you have any questions, don't be shy to write them in the live comment section. And yes, I think I can start now, Patrick.
Okay, so I'll start streaming your presentation.
Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Okay. So, yes, the first part of my presentation is about how to prepare for a job interview in English and what should you repeat or do before the interview. Okay, so I've got a few tips here. Of course, first, you have to do your homework. You have to prepare for your English language job interview just as you would for any other interview. Okay, so you have to do the research. Okay, research the company, its background, its history, and mission. And of course, usually that kind of information is actually online. And next, know your interviewer. Find out who will be interviewing you and review the job description in detail so you understand it inside and out. Okay, so it's also worth researching news or activities relating to the specific industry as this shows your interest. So in this case, of course, it's the IT industry. And I would also advise you to learn the key vocabulary in your field so that you can explain your answers in detail and show that you are really dedicated. So I'm not sure, but what I know about the key vocabulary I know about IT are, for example, webmaster and network. Am I correct about that, Patrick?
Software engineer or webmaster, they are related, but there is a difference. But yeah.
Okay, I understand. All right, so thank you. Now, if you have additional key vocab in your field that you would like to share with other viewers, you may type them in the comment section. And if you find something that's new for you, you can search for their meaning as your homework after this webinar. Okay, so now, okay, other tips that I have are, okay, wait, please, let me just scroll down. Okay, so I've got photos here. As you can see, you have to determine the travel time needed to promptly arrive at your interview location. So spend time prior to the interview working out how you'll get there. So look up public transport routes and timetables, or find out where you can park your car. Aside from that, I think you have to plan how long the journey will take, and you can even do a practice run if necessary. So our main goal is to arrive about 15 minutes early before your interview. hmm Okay, so of course we have another photo that's on the upper right side of my slide. Okay, so that means organize your material. So including your files and other requirements that the company has requested you to bring. So I would suggest preparing a checklist for that. And don't ever forget, several copies of your CV, updated resume or CV. So one for the employer and one for you. Okay. So next one, of course, dress for success. So an interview is your chance to make a strong first impression. Appearing overly casual could lead the hiring manager to believe that the candidate does not take the position seriously. So it's always safe to wear business casual attire. Okay, remember that business casual attire. So I've posted some photos that could be your outfit inspiration. So, but this is a part of your homework too. Okay, if you're in touch with the company's recruiter, take the time to ask about the dress code and what may be deemed appropriate attire for your interview. So even if your interview is on a video call, just like Skype, Zoom, I don't know, okay, and other messengers. So you want to look prepared and professional too, of course. So that dress appropriately from head to toe, and choose a background that is free of distractions. Okay. So now let's move on to the next part. So, my next tip is to anticipate potential questions. So, what are the usual interview questions you've encountered, guys? How about you, Patrick? What are the usual interview questions that you actually give to your candidate?
What's your hobby? I'm just
Mhm.
kidding because I'm asking mostly technical questions. So, for example,
Mm,
I ask, what is the hardest part in application that you have made
mhm,
last time? What you achieved? What have you learned? So
mhm.
something like that.
Okay, I understand. Thank you so much. Now, most interviewers have a list of questions, to determine whether you would fit the position and the whole organization. So, sample questions might include, not really might, but they they actually always appear in interviews. Like, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? So, take some time to determine how you would answer these and other interview questions in English, and be prepared to provide real life examples that reference your job history. So you can check the job advert itself for keywords and ideal candidate qualities that you can highlight. hmm So never memorize your answers, because of course you would like to sound natural during your interview. hmm so, if you find yourself struggling to answer a question, do not be afraid to, ask the recruiter to repeat it or reword it. Yeah, that's completely normal, and it really happens from time to time. So, yes, as you can see here, I've got two tips. Know your strengths. So of course, just like what I told you, okay, the most common questions that you will get are, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. So strengths, hiring manager will want to know what skills you'll bring to their company. So you have to read the job specification and make a note of the credentials that you have and that they are looking for. Okay, so think about your relevant skills and achievements and prepare to talk about specific examples that highlight your professional strengths and suitability for this position. So, next, think about a weakness you've overcome. So, it's no secret that interviewers love this question. Okay, what is your greatest weakness? So, identify something that you've already struggled with and that you've already dealt with before, and be sure you can actually list concrete ways in which you've I would say you can list concrete ways in which you've overcome this former weakness that you have. So for instance, perhaps you used to be disorganized about your tasks or some other things at work, but now you have to make a point of keeping an updated calendar to help you stay on top of your tasks and deadlines. Mm-hmm. Okay. Are there any questions for me? Because I'm not really sure. Okay. Okay, so someone's asking, is this your real name? Yes, it is my real name. How to handle provocative and controversial questions. Oh, okay, later on I'm going to talk about that. Okay, so now let's move on to the next part. Role play the interview. Okay, so yes, this is very important. One way to practice your language skills is to role play your interview. So you have to find an English speaking friend who can act as your interviewer by reciting sample interview questions in English. So, and providing, of course, feedback on your answers. So if you're a too low student, you can have this role play with the tutor. You may prepare your own questions, or you may utilize some of the lesson materials that we have related to interviews. But of course, not everyone is enrolled in a language school or has an English speaking friend, right? So alternatively, you may record yourself using your phone, computer, or any other recording devices that you have, asking and answering the questions in English. So you can play back the recording to see how you can improve your responses. So during your role play, you have to pay attention to your speed and clarity, okay, so that you can ensure that your answers are properly delivered and comprehensible, or understandable. So individuals tend to speak faster when they are nervous. So yes, by practicing speaking slowly and clearly during the role play, you'll actually feel more relaxed during the real interview. Mhm. Okay, because recruiters will not actually base their decision on how fast you address their questions. Most likely, they will base their decision on the substance of your answers. Okay, so now let's move on to the next part. Mind your body language. So, according to one psychologist, I already forgot the name. Okay, but yeah, only 7% of communication involves a spoken word. Okay, so according to the same person, 55% of communication is based on non-verbal behaviors. So maybe you guys can give me examples of non-verbal behaviors. Can you try to, yes, try to write in the live comment section? Okay. I'll wait for about 15 seconds or 10. I hope somebody will reply. Can you give me examples of nonverbal behaviors? Okay, 5, 4, 3. Okay, I don't. Okay, I think everyone's watching. So, well, anyway, okay, nonverbal behaviors like your posture, okay, your posture and eye contact. Okay, so there and then okay, the rest is actually about the tone of your voice. Okay, so it's unlikely that your interviewer will penalize you for pronouncing a word incorrectly, so just ensure that you speak with confidence and yeah, during the interview, of course, and that so that you can make a positive impression. Okay, so now yes, let's move on to the next part. Oh, okay. So this is the second part of my presentation. Okay, so what are the most common mistakes made during recruitment interviews in English? Okay, so what? Do you have any ideas, guys? Yeah, gesture smile. Yes. Okay. So now I see their answers. Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, so now okay, so maybe you can give me examples too. What are the common mistakes made during the recruitment interviews in English? hmm Okay, so here, of course, I already talked about this before. So it's about lack of research about the company. So again, guys, this is your homework. If you are offered an interview, that means the company is interested in you, and you have to reciprocate that. Okay, by researching about them online. You can always do that online. Okay, so go into the interview with a list of 4 or 5 excellent questions that will show you've done your research on the company and the industry. So yes, okay, what are examples of these of these questions? Because usually recruiters ask, okay, before they end the interview, they will ask you, okay, do you have any questions for me? Okay, of course, you cannot just say no, I don't have any, because okay, you will not look interested, okay, for this job position. So yeah, you can ask, for example, how will I be trained? What are the next steps in the interview process? Is there anything else I can provide to you that would be helpful in processing my application? Can you tell me about the team I'll be working with? Okay, so those are the example questions that you can ask. So now, okay, what else? Let's move on to the next part. Okay, the next one is unclear accomplishments. Okay, so this is about being unclear about your accomplishments. So when you are being interviewed in English, it is important to use action verbs. Okay, I've listed them down on that slide. So we've got facilitate, implement, present, and develop. So yes, it is very important to use action verbs. Okay, so about your positions in the past. So what exactly did you do in your previous positions? What did you accomplish? What did you create? So use action verbs to demonstrate the value that you will bring to the company. So yeah, so example sentences are, for example, okay, so I've actually researched about that, but of course, I'm not really sure if you use this in the IT industry. So, for example, facilitate troubleshooting, to diagnose and resolve some problems. What else? Develop and maintain local networks in ways that optimize performance. So something like that. Okay, so you have to prepare yourself to answer such questions. Okay, and the next one, dressing incorrectly. So this serves as a review for you guys. Because I already talked about this earlier, so I hope you still remember. Can you tell me, okay, what's the best attire for the IT position interview? Mm-hmm. Do you still remember what is the best attire for the IT position interview? Uh huh. Okay, I don't see. Okay, but anyway, maybe there's just some delay. Okay, so of course, we have again the business casual. Of course, you want to look clean and your clothes should be neat and ironed, but also, again, pay attention to the company culture. So, who works there and what kind of clothes do they wear? What kind of clothes are acceptable in that workplace? So, try to find out the standard dress code before you choose your interviewing outfit. So, yeah, and if you're lucky, if you're really in touch with a recruiter, you can actually ask them. Mm-hmm. And next, so this is very obvious using your phone. Okay, so this is the most obvious, and I actually don't need to mention this. But yeah, if you answer a phone call or try to send a text message in the middle of the interview, it might be insulting to the interviewer. So yeah, for me, maybe I will understand, maybe because it's an emergency, but as much as possible, just try to turn off your phone. Okay, and what else? Okay, what not to do during the interview? Bad mouthing your former employer. So even if your previous work situation was not really good, so try to spend your time talking about how you contributed to the workplace, and maybe the skills and the knowledge that you've gained. So don't waste your time criticizing former employer or former colleagues, because it might actually hurt your chances of getting the job. hmm Okay, and now, okay, let's talk about. Okay. When talking about weaknesses, how can I turn them into strengths? Or instead of talking directly that I'm shy, should I say that I'm getting nervous? Okay, I don't see the whole. Okay, getting nervous speaking in public. Mm-hmm. Okay, so okay, my advice for you guys is, yes, okay, during the interview, you have to say what you've already struggled with and what you've already dealt with before. Okay, so that okay, your or maybe what you have been working on right now. Okay, so just like what I told you earlier. So, for example, if you were this person who was really disorganized about your tasks, or sometimes you actually missed your okay, your meetings or maybe your deadlines. Okay, so you can say that, yeah, I'm actually trying to work on that. I always keep my calendar updated. So yes, you have to okay, convert your weakness into a strong point, or at least you have to mention that you're already working on it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now let's move on to the next part of my presentation. Okay. Okay, so how to take care of the correct pronunciation. Okay, so in this case, this should be part of your preparation before your interview. It cannot be done during the interview, of course. This is a part of your homework. So, because if you're not going to do that and you will only care about your pronunciation during the interview, where the chance of stuttering is higher, good luck. Okay, but yes, of course, I'm here to okay, give you some tips. Okay, on how you can actually improve your pronunciation. Okay, or what? Okay, I'm going to tell you how to deal with this issue. Okay, so first, okay, so you have to decide which accent you want to speak with. So, what is an accent? Of course, an accent is a way of saying words that are common in a particular region or country. Okay, so it is important to focus on the sounds used in one accent, because it gets confusing to you and to your listener if you start mixing sounds from different accents. Okay, so there are many different kinds of English accents. The two most common are British and American. And there are many different accents even within British and American pronunciation. But most learning materials that will help you learn either a standard British or a standard American accent. Okay. So now, okay, second one is, don't try to guess how to say a word in English. Learn how to pronounce it correctly the first time. So there are many, many words in English that are not pronounced the way they look. Okay, so when you see a new word, the worst thing that you can do is to try to guess how to say it, or use the sounds in your native language or in your mother tongue to say this specific English word. So you don't have to guess how to say a word in English, okay? So you don't have to look at a word and try to remember pronunciation rules, okay? So for me, you just have to listen to someone say the word. You have to learn with your ears and not with your eyes when you're talking about pronunciation. Okay, so the more times that you say a word incorrectly, the harder it becomes to learn how to say it correctly. Yeah, we cannot, it's actually hard, and it takes a long time to break a bad habit, right? So yes, so say it right for the first time, or I would say it right the first time you encounter this word. Okay, so now, for example, okay, there you are. So for example, let's pretend that you are reading a book and you see this word right there on my screen. Even though I cannot hear you right now, guys, I would like you to say this word right now and listen to yourself. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll give you 5 seconds. Practice how to say this word by yourself. Okay. All right. Okay, so now, how do you pronounce this word? So, this is actually outrageous. Okay, outrageous. So, how do you can use a dictionary, online dictionary, specifically for English learners, just like this one. Okay, I personally use www.dictionary.com. And as you can see, we have got a speaker icon there. You can just click that, and then you can just you can hear someone say the word. Okay, but of course you can also use other dictionary online dictionaries like Cambridge or maybe Merriam-Webster. Okay, so it depends on your preference. And the reason why I choose this one is it's because you will see how it is pronounced. So the bold part actually means it's where we stress the word. So outrageous, right? Okay, and then yes, you can just click that icon, and then okay, you'll be able to hear someone say the word. Aside from that, we have okay, the meaning of the words and how we use them in sentences or in phrases. hmm Okay, so what else? Let's move on to the next part. Try to imitate spoken English. Okay, so how did you learn speaking your native language or your mother tongue? So, of course, you did not read words and you did not, guess how to pronounce words in Polish, right? So, you listened and listened and listened to all the people around you, and then you tried to repeat them, make the same sounds as them. And yes, that's how you learned it. That's called imitation. Okay, imitation means copying. You copy someone, copying someone. You imitate someone by doing the same thing or by saying the same words they say. Okay, so for example, if you really like someone speaks English, maybe it's your favorite actor or actress, try to copy the way they speak. Okay, so you can watch their TV shows, their movies, or you can even listen to podcasts. So it really depends on you. Mm-hmm. Okay, and next, record yourself. Okay, so in my experience as a language teacher, I've observed that you can't improve your pronunciation until you can hear your own mistakes. Okay, so it's important to hear what you sound like speaking English so you know what you need to improve. Okay, so you can compare what you sound like to what you want to sound like. So, for example, you can record yourself reading a sentence from one of your favorite English movies and then listen to the actor saying the same sentence and compare your pronunciation. hmm Okay, and now, okay, I think I'm moving forward to to the last part of my presentation, but do you have any additional questions there? Mm, Okay. Oh, yes, of course. Most of the recruitment process is happening currently online. So it would be great to refer to this specific environment as well. Oh, yes, of course. I totally agree with that because of the pandemic that we have right now. I'm sure there have been a lot of recruitment interviews happening online. So yes, okay, just like what I told you earlier, okay, in this case, even though the interview is online, I think you still have to follow the do's and do not do the don'ts, right? So, of course, you still have to look professional. Okay, especially if it is a video call. Mm-hmm. Okay, and now let's move on. How to handle difficult questions. I saw someone actually asked about that earlier. Okay, so how about you, Patrick? How do you usually handle difficult interview questions?
I try not to answer, but to be honest, of course, it depends. I try to just answer how I feel that topic, how I'm aware with it. So
Mhm.
just to be honest, I
Mhm.
think it's
Okay.
it's okay.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, be yourself. Right?
Just be
Okay.
yourself.
Yes. Okay. That's true. Okay. So now, I'm sure every one of you has this remarkable experience when you had a hard time answering a very difficult question. Okay. So let me give you some tips on how to handle these questions. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So I'd put this one first. Keep a sense of humor. So if you're completely stressed out over one question, the interviewer may feel that you won't be able to handle stress on the job. hmm So, if possible, laugh a little, try a casual conversation or response, such as, "Oh, that is a good question. Let me think about it for a bit." hmm So with that, you avoid awkward silence. You can potentially keep the interview moving forward. And yeah, when you can build rapport and laugh at yourself, even when you're stumped in a very difficult question, you show that you're someone others can relate to, right? So, and even though you cannot answer the question 100%, they will, still take notice on how you handled pressure and that you're a likable person. So yeah, just be yourself. Okay, just take it lightly, and I think they will have really good impression of you. hmm So now, okay, another tip that I have is answer a question with another question. Yes. Okay, so that's another good technique. Uh-huh. Okay, so if you'd like clarification, you can ask your interviewer. For example, you did not understand it the first time it was said. So just ask the interviewer, yeah, to rephrase or to reword. If the question isn't all that tough, but merely somehow vague, like for example, tell me about yourself. Okay, of course, sometimes you are confused. What about me? So you can ask the interviewer, would you like to know about my academic background, employment background, or both? But usually, yes. Okay, when the interviewer asks you, tell me about yourself, usually they're asking about your academic background and, of course, your experience, employment experience. So by returning a question, you can buy yourself a few moments to prepare for that, for your answer. And that's what you call buying time technique. Okay, you buy time. hmm And now, I think this is my last tip. Okay, so have a copy of your CV. So earlier I told you that you have to organize your files, right? Okay, you have to have a checklist of the documents that you need to bring. So again, okay, so you have to prepare one copy of your updated CV for your employer and for yourself. So by having your CV or resume in front of you, you'll have an instant reminder of your most impressive accomplishments. So as well as a general reference when it comes to dates or other specifics you may draw a blank on when feeling under pressure from a tough question. Yeah, you can always look at your CV, but of course not all the time. Okay, so you can have it as your reference. Just for example, you're actually under pressure about one question and you've already forgotten your accomplishments and you went blank. Yeah, you can just look at your CV and then yeah, that's fine with us recruiters. Okay, so yeah, many interviewers will also refer to your resume as they proceed through the interview. So when you have it right in front of you, you can follow along and not miss a step. hmm Okay, so yes, I think it's the end of my presentation, Patrick.
Okay, thank you, Princess. We have
Yeah,
two questions from the audience.
sure.
First one is Mark's.
Myrick, yes. Okay. If you record yourself, the recruiter will see how good you are prepared, but with non-standard questions, it could be the opposite. Mm, okay. Could you tell me more about it, Merrick? Okay, if you could record yourself, the recruiter will see.
Okay, we will wait for the response, and
Yes.
meantime, we have other question from
Okay.
Daur.
Probably better ways to ask for a budget for a specific project that you are applying for. Yes. Okay. So that's actually a good question. You can add this as a very good question. Yeah, because as just like what I said earlier, okay, you have to be prepared about because recruiters actually ask questions at the end of the interview. I mean to say the recruiter actually ask you if you have any questions for them before ending the interview. So yes, I guess it is actually a good question. hmm All right, and about Merrick's question, still waiting.
Okay, still waiting, but if you have any
Yeah.
other questions, we are here for, I think, 5 minutes. Uh,
hmm yes, it's my real name. hmm Okay. Trivia for you. Actually, my name is okay, that like the second most common girl's name here in my country, Princess. Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you have any other questions?
Mm-hmm.
These questions we had to back.
Okay. How to handle provocative and controversial questions. For example, I was asked, would it be okay for me to work in an international environment where there are employees from different countries? Mm-hmm. Would it be okay for me to work in an international environment where there are employees from different countries? Mm, well, actually, okay. I think, of course, as an employee, I think it's, I mean to say, as a candidate, it's an opportunity for you to work, with different employees from different countries, right? And aside from that, you can actually hone your English skills because you'll be able to practice them. So, uh, okay, so if this is not okay with you, then I guess, okay, I guess you just have to be, I mean to say, yeah, you just have to be yourself. Okay, but say this in a proper way. Okay, avoid negative sentences when you answer questions. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have another question. How we can
Yes.
say ourselves when we have no idea what to say in the middle of answer?
Okay, how can we save ourselves when we have no idea what to say in the middle of an answer? Okay. So yes, this is what I maybe okay, this is about when you are okay, nervous, right? So just like what I told you earlier. Okay, so you have to buy time. Okay? The secret is to buy time. So for example, okay, you don't really know what to say anymore because you're under pressure, and usually you know what to say, but you're just that nervous that you cannot say it. So you have to buy time. Okay, you can actually tell your recruiter, I'm sorry, please, okay, give me time, like at least a minute, okay, because I'm quite nervous. You can actually be open to your recruiter. And they will actually appreciate this if you are open to them and if you are honest to them that you're just nervous to answer that question. But in this case, okay, yeah, you have to buy time. Like, that's a good question. Okay, maybe we could skip this for now, and then we can move. Can we move on to the other question that you might have for me? And then I'm going to answer that question later on. So yeah, you can buy time.
Okay, we have other question. How to overcome stress during conversation?
How to where is it? How to fight stress during a conversation. Okay. I guess, guys, you just have to be okay, confident, be yourself, just like what I said, and just relax. Okay, just think that this recruiter was once an interviewee too, and this recruiter actually understands how you feel, and you don't really have to hurry, and you don't have to, let's say, hurry answering the questions of these recruiters. Okay, so I think okay, sorry, I lost it. Okay, so yes, okay, just be confident. Okay, I think what you can do is to just relax, calm down yourself. So that's how you usually, fight stress during the interview. And just like what I told you, you have to consider that this recruiter is not really okay, someone who is above you. Maybe you're feeling intimidated, okay? But just think that this recruiter was once an interviewee too. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, other question from Michał.
Okay. Mihao, is
Uh,
it suitable
I,
asking for company? Okay.
okay.
Okay. I understand what you mean. Okay. So this is about, this is related to salary negotiation, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I think you can ask this, okay, and okay, if it is about the salary negotiation, I guess you can actually ask that, okay, during the interview, okay, but you have to ask this in a right way, okay. So for example, okay, let's say this is your initial interview. Of course, it's not good to open up about the salary, okay, because this employer might think that you only think about how much you're going to earn, okay. But of course, if it is already the final interview, and after this final interview, you're gonna sign the contract. So I think that's the best time when you can ask about this. Okay. Is there anything else?
And I think we have last one question. Is it true that interviewers are also in stress talking to the candidate?
It's true that interviewers are also in stress talking to the candidate, but they kind of learned how to not show that. I think so. Yes, it's true. Okay, so I think sometimes it happens, especially when as an interviewer, when you know that this person has much more experience than you have. Okay, sometimes it happens. But of course, as an interviewer, you really have to be confident because you are there. You are there in for a purpose, right? It's you is going to judge this candidate. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I think last one question from Krzysztof.
Christoph, okay. What is the best way to hide or mask your lack of real life experience? For example, when you're applying to your first job or job you didn't do before. Ah, okay, I understand. So of course,
Just don't apply.
okay. No, okay. Well, in this case, Patrick, I think you can actually talk about your volunteering experiences before, if you have any, and some activities that you've actually done in the university. Of course, you've got this. Okay. I mean to say, before you graduate, you have this on-the-job training, right? So I guess you can actually mention about them. They're really helpful. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
Okay.
can you recommend any good online service to train pronunciation?
Can you recommend any? Of course, I'd like to recommend Tutlo to you guys. Okay, so yes, again, Tutlo is an online English learning platform. We provide one-on-one lessons to our students. So in just 20 minutes a day, you can actually, okay, you can actually have good lessons. If you want to focus on pronunciation, we've got pronunciation courses, and if you want to focus on your speaking skills, we also have of course, conversational lessons. So we use the immersion method here at Tutlo. hmm
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I
Okay.
think we are out of time.
Uh-huh.
So I'd like to thank you all for the participation, for your questions, for you, Princess, to have you
Thank you.
here.
I'm very happy to be here, Patrick. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I hope see you soon on other webinar.
Of course, yes. Okay. And yeah, I hope the audience will also join the next webinars. Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to my presentation. And thank you so much again to Patrick.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.